Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for a Tuesday edition of the Steel City Sports Report, where we talk everything Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates. I'm your host, Brady Vini. Tons to talk about here today. The Pittsburgh Steelers news flying off the shelf left and right when it relates to them today. Cam Heyward back practicing for the black and gold. Is his holding over? What all is he thinking? We do not know. He did not speak to the media today, but we will be left to speculate to our own devices. Also, we heard from head coach Mike Tomlin and quarterback Aaron Rodgers ahead of Thursday's final preseason game against the Carolina Panthers. Who all will play in that game, we will discuss here in a little bit. And relating to the other two teams here in Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh Pirates last night winning game one of their three-game set with the Toronto Blue Jays and showing a little bit of fight for once, both figuratively and literally. And for the Pittsburgh Penguins, some news around them revolving around ownership. Could Fenway Sports Group actually let go of the team after purchasing it just 4 small years ago? Who will buy it? We will discuss later on in the program, and anything else that we just so happen to come across. First thing is first, if you are new here to the channel, please subscribe and turn on notifications so that you never miss when I am live again. Also, feel free to hit the like button, share this live stream, and leave any thoughts, questions, or opinions that you have in the comment section. Just like this, I can pop those up on screen at a moment's notice, and we can interact that way. Also, I would appreciate it if you go give the channel a follow at Steel City SR on the following social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, and X. And come back later tonight for a new edition of SCSR 60. All right, ladies and gentlemen, getting into the news here today. Like I said, lots to talk about for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We are going to start at their facility on the south side of Pittsburgh today, where we saw one Cam Heyward in full pads and helmet out there practicing today. This right here from Brooke Pryor, one of a handful of videos out there showing Cam Heyward back out there on the practice field today. This appears to be a sign that his hold-in is over, and he participated in all phases of practice, according to Mike Tomlin. This is the first time that we have seen Heyward since he first put out there into the public that he is looking for a contract raise. He feels that he is underpaid. He said himself that he is the 22nd highest paid defensive lineman in the NFL, which him coming off of a Pro Bowl an all-pro season last year is downright disrespectful in the eyes of Cam. I thought that the whole entire time this was going to be, Cam, you signed a contract extension a year ago, and now you're asking for more money. Not a good look on your behalf here. The Steelers, sure, they have a little bit of money left over to where they will be able to slide Cam a little bit of that, but they don't want to look like pushovers in this whole negotiation. So it was really who is going to blink first scenario here. And today, this indicates that Heyward blinked first. Like I said, first time since August 7th when he made known his displeasure with his current pay that we have seen him in practice. He is still pushing to get an increase in his 2025 compensation, however. So this could be, on Cam's behalf, a sort of goodwill gesture towards the Steelers organization, saying, hey, back, a couple weeks ago when I came out that I was very angry, underpaid, I said some things like I would sit out, for the first game of the regular season. I've said in the past, that I would go to Cleveland because I got family there. Let me show you again here a sign of goodwill on my behalf, and I'll go out there and practice today, and then maybe that'll make you guys reconsider, maybe sliding a couple extra $1 million my way. So that is where I think Cam Heyward's mindset is. I think that's also the mindset of his teammates. We've heard in recent days Jalen Ramsey and Darius Slay go to bat for Cam on his podcast. We also today heard at practice TJ Watt walking up to Brian Bacco, who covers the Steelers for Pittsburgh Sports Now, or for Post-Gazette Sports Now, excuse me, TJ Watt walking up to one of the reporters saying, man, 97 looks great out there, period. Pay that man. So now TJ Watt, Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slay, really the big names on the Steelers defense going to bat for Cam Heyward, who returns to practice for the first time in quite some time today. Also, Cam Heyward did work in team periods. He was not available to talk after practice, so that brings an end to that news story here today. Cam Heyward still looking for a raise, but now instead of sitting on his ass figuratively, I mean he's still in the building. Instead of not doing anything, not preparing to the fullest extent that he possibly can for the upcoming season, he instead today getting back out there, getting some real active practice work in, not just standing off to the side in street clothes. We will also be talking about some other things that went on at Steelers practice today right now. Some more news from practice. Mike Tomlin, head coach for the Steelers, said that Aaron Rodgers will not play Thursday night in Carolina, along with TJ Watt, Cam Heyward, and DK Metcalf. Other than those four, all healthy players outside of them will prepare to play on Thursday. Tomlin sort of saying like, hey, we got arguably our two best guys on offense and two best guys on defense. They're going to sit out. Everyone else, assuming that you're good to go, you're not dealing with any sort of ailments, be prepared to go out there and get some work in Thursday night in Carolina. That could mean that we might see Jalen Ramsey and Darius Slay for the first time in this new revamped Steelers secondary. We could see maybe Jonnu Smith, if he is healthy and good to go. Isaac Seumalo will get back out there. Jaylen Warren for the first time as the clear-cut number one in this Steelers defense. Chris Boswell, assuming that his hold-in is indeed over, like what we have been speculating, seeing how he did some kickoff special teams Saturday against the Buccaneers. Will he kick field goals now on Thursday? We will have to wait and see. Tomlin did give himself an out, though. He did say today that if the Panthers, if they play their ones, which I think their head coach, Dave Canella, said that he most likely will not, then I'm sure you will see absolute nobody fest here on Thursday night. Tomlin saying his normal saying right here, we will wait until the 11th hour to make a decision on that. But that is what Tomlin had to say after practice today, saying DK, Aaron, TJ, and Cam will not play. Everyone else, assuming that they have a perfect bill of health, will be good to go. Some other stuff here from practice today. We heard from Aaron Rodgers as well. He spoke before practice. Also spoke on Cam Heyward's podcast, sort of tying Heyward and Rodgers together here. Aaron and DK Metcalf both on Cam's podcast really started off kind of awkward. It was a good, edition of the Not Just Football podcast. They broke down a whole bunch of different things about each other and their past experiences, but it began with Cam apologizing to Aaron for saying either you want to be here or not, and also Cam saying he had some preconceived notions about Rodgers that Rodgers said was clearly, it's hard to tell with him whether he's joking, whether he's being serious, but he was like, I think legitimately a little bit heated that Cam said, hey, I thought this of you before I even met you, which Aaron has been on a whole tirade this, off season and this preseason saying, all of you guys who judge me haven't even met me. So why don't you get to know me a little bit first? Cam, no different than any of us in that aspect. He apologized to Rodgers and said that he has a new look at Rodgers and just how good of a teammate he is. Speaking of Rodgers and being a good teammate, spoke about two of his top wide receivers, not named DK Metcalf. He said that he will keep coaching up Roman Wilson hard because of his talent, said that Roman has a chance to be a big-time talent in the league. And he's a great talent that can make a difference. So says Aaron Rodgers, but he is going to be hard on him. I love that. That is really kind of what set off Roman Wilson into how he is doing so far this preseason. Like midway through training camp, he was just kind of a guy out there, wasn't making any, too big splashes. He was put wide receiver number 5 on the Steelers depth chart. And Rodgers and Tomlin both said, hey, when are we going to see Roman Wilson pop off here pretty much? And then Roman, both preseason games, he has been lights out for this Steelers team. Also talking about another wide receiver, Rodgers calling Calvin Austin one of the happiest guys in the locker room and one of his favorite guys in the room. I thought, he didn't say anything nice about his teammates before. Makes you wonder there. Speaking of speaking of Calvin Austin, back out there again practicing at the Steelers facility today, doing some individual drills. Looks pretty nimble for whatever injury he is dealing with. I think someone out there pointed out that Rodgers might have alluded to it being an oblique injury for Calvin Austin, but looking at some videos out there from practice today, him doing individual drills and fielding some punts once again, it looks like Austin might have an outside shot of getting at least a taste of preseason action before real bullets start to fly here on September 7th against the Jets. And that's pretty much all that happened today at the Steelers facility. Now that will wrap things up for them. They will, I assume, tomorrow get on a plane and head down to the Carolina Panthers for their preseason game coming up here on Thursday night. We're going to keep with the Steelers here, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to move right along here. Cam Heyward holding ending. Calvin Austin on the road back from his injury. Mike Tomlin saying that all but 4 players will play on Thursday night. Was there anything else that anybody can think off the top of their head that went on today? Yeah, Gabe Davis. Yesterday, we had the breaking news that Gabe Davis was going to be in Pittsburgh today for his second visit with the black and gold. Davis, I believe, back in early June, was in Pittsburgh, met with some Steelers brass, got checked out, was released from the Jacksonville Jaguars with a failed physical designation due to a knee injury, came to Pittsburgh, docs checked him out, he left the building without a deal. Now back in Pittsburgh today, a second visit to the Steelers facility. Many of us can jump to the conclusion, all right, he wouldn't be coming back here if a deal wasn't for sure, going to get done. And lo and behold, all of us duped once again. I believe it was an early morning visit for Gabe Davis at the Steelers facility today, and he once again left without a contract. The Steelers did not keep him in the building today. And as a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, according to Jordan Schultz, Davis does indeed have another visit lined up, and he is heading where? Back to his old stomping grounds of Buffalo, New York. After meeting with the Steelers today, Davis will visit this week with the Buffalo Bills, where he had 32,000 yards and 35 touchdowns across 4 seasons up there. Made his big-time production up there. Then went down to Jacksonville, got a nice little payday. Only ends up there for 1 year. So a little bit of a interesting situation here. Like I said, we all would have probably put a good chunk of money on, all right, if Davis is coming back here, then you got to think 9 times out of 10 he is going to sign here, and he will maybe get a practice in today and maybe see some preseason action down in Carolina 2 days from now. Not the case at all. And now the Steelers still at the altar waiting for their solution to a wide receiver too. I do want to say with this whole Gabe Davis situation, even though he's visited twice now and he's left twice, I do not think that this is a closing of this door by any means necessary. This could be the Steelers just saying, hey, maybe we got something bigger on our minds right now of a possible addition we can make, but we might as well stay in touch with this guy who we know we can fall back to if worst case scenario happens. Davis still just 26 years old after having some good times up in Buffalo with Josh Allen, which, by the way, Josh Allen is pretty much leading the push here to get Davis back up to Buffalo, why he's visiting later this week. Davis, 26 years old, made his bread and butter up there, and then the Jags just fell off. I'd like to take that is just an exception and, not the norm here. So still think there's some good football left in Gabe Davis, but now, once again, after it seemingly looked like this was finally going to be over, the Steelers at least have a warm body that you can squint and view as a wide receiver too. But now back to the drawing board. Terry McLaurin, could he still be an option? McLaurin, by the way, the Commanders last night, they had a preseason game against the Cincinnati Bengals, which, by the way, Cincy, woof. They are terrible on O-line. They're terrible on defense, and they are pretty much putting out there in bright neon light billboards that, hey, Trey Hendrickson is available at the right price. So Cincinnati looking like a dumpster fire, probably getting up there with as big of a dumpster fire as the Cleveland Browns in their own way. But back to McLaurin here. Could he still be an option? I don't know. Commanders recently took him off the PUP list. It was not anything contract related, according to some insiders. But last night, McLaurin not even in the building for that Commanders-Bengals preseason game. Ari Miroff saying, after all the momentum and positive vibes, it's stunning there's still no deal with the exact type of player you build around, a leader, a fan favorite, an exceptional talent on the field, and a receiver trusted by the franchise. So crazy that situation is still ongoing. I would have thought McLaurin would be paid by now, seeing how he was taken off the PUP list, but that seemed to be taking another twist and turn. Some other wide receivers still out there for the Steelers, aside from Gabe Davis. We talked earlier this week or last week, I think it was at the end of last week, about the Odell Beckham Jr. Scenario where he said on a podcast or something that he was in talks with Aaron Rodgers this offseason. I don't really care for that acquisition. This isn't, 2019 OBJ here. Amari Cooper, he is still available out there. I think he is probably the most solid of the bunch that, you wouldn't need to make a trade for right now. Veteran presence, solid route runner. I think just got bad luck last season. Had no one to throw him the ball in Cleveland, and then he goes up to Buffalo and gets injured. Couldn't really get on that moving train. He's kind of the perfect guy for the Steelers offense, in my opinion. A sort of in between being a big, physical, just run a straight line, go ball downfield receiver like DK Metcalf, and between Metcalf, that type, and the little small get open in space and make some yards after the catch, Roman Wilson, Calvin Austin type. So Amari Cooper probably still at the top of my board for additions. And then, of course, I don't think the Steelers are going to make a move quite just yet if it's not going to be Gabe Davis soon. We got to remember, roster cut downs. They are still on the horizon here. Those come up here a week from now. All rosters in the NFL will be reduced to 53, and I'm sure there will be a ton of good wide receivers to choose from on that front. And then we will see where things go from there. Just to wrap up some of the upcoming key NFL dates on August 26th, a week from now, rosters will be reduced to 53. The day after that, final cuts and claims will be due at noon, and the 17-man practice squads will be established. So we will see what all happens between now and then. Gabe Davis leaving today without a contract once again with the Steelers. Will he come back after his visit to Buffalo? Who knows? If both teams do have contract offers for him on the table, you'd like to think that Davis is going to go back to a familiar situation with a familiar quarterback, and that will leave the Steelers again. Do we make a big splash? Do we put a Band-Aid over a bullet hole here with someone that gets cut from another team? Who knows? But we will find out here soon enough. Before I continue on here, ladies and gentlemen, would like to remind you once again to subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already, and turn on notifications so that you never miss when I am live again. Also, feel free to hit that like button, share this live stream, and comment in the live chat any thoughts, questions, or opinions that you may have. Real quick, gonna take a quick stroll here through Twitter, see if any new pieces of information on either today's Steelers practice or the Gabe Davis situation or anything has gone down since we have been live. Once again, looking ahead to Thursday night, nothing, nobody outside of Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf, Cam Heyward, and TJ Watt will be sitting out. Darius Slay, Jalen Ramsey, Deshaun Elliott, and that Steelers secondary could get their first work. Not seeing any new pieces of information right now. Also, by the way, those of you who are watching my sort of mannerisms here, if you do see me look off here to the right, the Pittsburgh Pirates, who we are going to talk about here in a moment, they have a first pitch of Game 2 of their series against the Toronto Blue Jays coming up here in about 50 minutes. However, here in 7 minutes, Minor League Baseball will be on this TV. Connor Griffin tonight for the Buccos will make his Double-A debut. If I had to recall where he is batting in the lineup tonight, yes, playing shortstop, batting second in the lineup for the Altoona Curve here tonight. So I will be peeking over here to see how he does if I am not all wrapped up by the time he comes up to bat. Griffin, by the way, congratulations to him, making history, the youngest prospect to ever play for the Altoona Curve. Mentioned last night that he is the first teenager since Andrew McCutchen to play at Double-A for the Curve. However, Griffin, just about 7 months younger than Kutch was at that time. 19 years, 3 months, and 26 days old is Connor Griffin, the youngest prospect to ever play for the Altoona Curve. Congratulations to him. But instead of talking about the Double-A squad right now, let's talk about the big league squad. And man, they are fun to talk about. At least they weren't too bad to watch last night. The Bucs in Game 1 of their series against the Jays, they got out to a 1-0 lead. Nick Gonzalez singled, Jared Triolo walked, and then Alexander Canario, who recorded his first hit and first RBI since July 7th. Well over a month since Alexander Canario has had a hit and an RBI for this ball club, and he's remained on the big league roster the entire time. He got the Bucs on the board early last night, 1-0. It was a Paul Skeens day, by the way. In the third inning, top of the third inning, the Blue Jays, they made it 2-1. They hit around Skeens just a little bit. Vlad Guerrero Jr. brought one run in on an RBI chopper, and then Bo Bichette had another RBI single. In that inning, I believe it was Addison Barger, the third baseman for the Jays, had the hardest recorded hit off of Paul Skeens yet in his big league career at 115 miles an hour. Still, though, I'd like to say, I know there's not too many, overpowering hitters that are exit velo kings like O'Neal Cruz, but we now just make it to We now just make it to, 2 years now in Paul Skeens' tenure with the Bucks, and we're only just now seeing him get one hit around 115 area off of him. The Bucks, in the bottom of the third, they would get that run back for Skeens. Spencer Horwitz, he doubled, advanced to third on a Tommy Pham single, and then Brian Reynolds with a fielder choice brought him in. Skeens on the ledger last night, 6 innings pitched, gave up 5 hits, 2 earned runs, just walked 1, but struck out 8, a 96 pitch outing for him, 16 swings and misses on 65 strikes. He now has a league best 2.16 ERA, even with his rough outing a couple of starts ago, still leading the majors in ERA. He is also third in innings pitched at 154 innings pitched. I dare say, could we be seeing Skeens now skyrocket up the Cy Young rankings? I know the record, which still his record is 7-9. He did get a no decision last night. By the way, this season, 10 starts with a no decision. In those 10 starts, a 189 ERA. One of many fireable offenses on Ben Cherington's part. But Skeens, top 3 in majors for innings pitched, and he has the lowest ERA. Also, Zach Wheeler, ace for the Philadelphia Phillies. He has gone on the 15-day IL with a blood clot in his shoulder. No clue how serious that is going to be. I hope the guy will be all right because, Wheeler, I love seeing good pitching. But, if he's going to miss the rest of the season, Skeens, just because availability is the best ability, he might jump him here to win the Cy Young possibly at the end of the year. Still, handful of starts left to go, but things looking up and up here for Skeens in the Cy Young race. After Skeens departed, went an extra inning after that before the Bucks scored another run. No decision for Paul Skeens, but Hank Davis, he came in clutch in the late innings for the Buccos, hit a double, advanced to third on a bunt, and then scored on a wild pitch from Brendan Little. Speaking of Brendan Little, had a little bit of command issues, could not find the zone when Tommy Pham stepped up to the plate. And if you know Tommy Pham, he is not one to shy away from any sort of confrontation. And take a look at this. So before this video, we are like part ways in here. The video will restart here in a little bit. Tommy Pham, up to bat, ball pretty outside the zone and even a little bit below. Does not get called a strike. That pitch was called a strike more often than not throughout the night. Former Bucco catcher Tyler Heineman behind the plate for the Blue Jays said something, not sure if it was to the umpire or Pham, about saying, oh, that was a strike. Pham then said, no, it's outside. Little, the pitcher, you're going to see it here. It's going to restart in 4 seconds here. Throws the pitch outside again. Tommy Pham, I've never seen a bat flip walk. That is when Heineman says something again. Pham takes exception, turns around there. Heineman says, I'm not talking to you. Pham going at the former Bucco. Looks like he is ready to chokeslam someone, WWE style. I just thought that was crazy, and it didn't end there. Benches cleared, as you see. Players came running in from the bullpen. Kind of crazy. Nothing really came of it. Pham stayed in the game and ended up running the bases. And this whole situation, it is an oddly big talking point in Major League Baseball talks today, where Pham is going at some writers and reporters for the Blue Jays. He's going at fans of the Blue Jays. Just do yourself a favor tonight and go to Tommy Pham's Twitter account and just go to the reply section on there and look at him going toe-to-toe with pretty much anyone who says anything about him here today. So he is heated. And at least, I'm not saying Pham is in the right for, what he did. I think, he was, at this point, he's on a crappy team. probably a little, confused and befuddled why he didn't get moved at the trade deadline. Also, he's been one of the hottest hitters on the team when everyone else has, gone to sleep for the most part with the bats. So I think he was just looking for any little thing to set him off last night. And poor Tyler Heineman, that ended up being the case. Like I said, Pham got on base pretty much immediately after that. So I think runners are at third and second at this point. Or no, runners are at first and second base. A pickoff move to Alexander Canario at second base goes into center field. He moves up to third. Pham moves up to second. And then another error, which was the third error of the game for the Jays and the second of the inning. A steal, or Tommy Pham was still at first base there. The pickoff throw went into center field. Triolo, who I was on second now that I'm remembering, he goes to third. Runners at the corner. Pham tries to steal second. And the throw from the catcher, as soon as he let it go, that thing I thought was going into the shrubs in center field. He sailed it. Run comes in, makes it 4-2. Henry Davis, again, coming through with a good piece of hitting tonight. Man, I really hope he figures it out. Sacrifice fly to the deepest part of the ballpark, and that brings in the fifth and final run for the Buccos in that game last night. They win by the final score of 5-2. And like I said, now we wait and see what comes from them tonight. Game 2 with the Toronto Blue Jays coming up here in roughly 40 minutes. The lineup for the Bucs tonight: Ronnie Simon. Again, who the hell is this dude? No offense to him. Batting leadoff in left field. Spencer Horwitz at first. Brian Reynolds in right. Nick Gonzalez clean up at second base. Andrew McCutchen DHing. Jack Sawinski in center. Joey Bart catches. Jared Triolo plays at shortstop. And Isaiah Kiner-Falefa rounds out the lineup at third base. Mitch Keller on the bump tonight, looking to turn things around for himself here. He's fallen back down that slope where he just all of a sudden turns back into a pumpkin when the second half of the season rolls along. So we'll see what comes of Keller tonight. No Tommy Pham in the lineup tonight. Interesting decision. I did not see the Blue Jays lineup. Have no idea if Tyler Heineman is in or not. Regardless, with heat against Tommy Pham right now, I even think the Blue Jays manager said something about Pham, him being in the lineup tonight. Probably best for all parties here, because he would have gotten thrown at, and we would have had a whole another fiasco on our hands tonight. So that is what went down last night. The Bucs, by the way, they made a couple of roster moves before this evening's game. Tomorrow, the starting pitcher, which up until earlier today was TBD for the Buccos, it is Bubba Chandler on the bump tomorrow, making his MLB debut. And you do not believe me. Honestly, I wouldn't believe me either. No, actually, joking. Johan Oviedo will make the start tomorrow. He got called up today. A corresponding move from the Bucs will need to be made by tomorrow. So Oviedo, after a horrendous, down pretty much as bad of a comeback start as you could have a couple of weeks ago, he is getting a second shot in the majors after, I don't know, he probably made one or two starts here in AAA. By the way, that game underway. Taking a look there at Connor Griffin at shortstop tonight. Right there, wearing number 12. Could we possibly, I know it's just AA, I have faith that Griffin is going to keep climbing that ladder. We'll see if the other guy does as well. Could be looking at a middle infield pairing here in this game right now between the Curve and Fight and Phils of the future for the Bucs, Tamar Johnson and Connor Griffin. We will see. The other roster moves that the Pirates made today, besides bringing Johan Oviedo back up to the big leagues, Ryan Borucki, who was DFA'd 4 days ago, he has cleared waivers and is now a free agent. So after, I think he went through the same exact thing last year. Barucki again back out on the open market. Also a pair of bullpen arms, left-handed pitcher Tim Meza and right-handed reliever Justin Lawrence, who we have not seen, honestly, probably since the first month of the season. They are beginning rehab assignments, beginning with the Bradenton Marauders this evening. So that is all that is going on here in Pirates news. First pitch of this Altoona Curve Reading Fighting Phils game is underway. The Fighting Phils, the minor league AA affiliate of the Philadelphia Phillies. Let's go to the comments section real quick. Flacco, welcome back. Boo Gabe Davis just saying a salute, hit the like button and sub. Thank you, Flacco, as always. Yeah, bet you're happy. Gabe Davis leaving the building for a second time. No deal. And he is taking a quick drive up to Buffalo, New York. If I had to guess, he'll probably end up signing there, and you'll get your wish, Flacco. The Steelers probably going to look elsewhere for wide receiver 2 help. Tweet-in music is warranted, I assume, for the Tommy Pham thing. I think, honestly, you can go with Tommy Pham. He probably walks around with Chris Benoit music playing, or at least Stone Cold Steve Austin. Dude is just wired, like so much pent up aggression all the damn time. Crazy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we move into the extra Pittsburgh news segment of the program here today, 8 of you in here right now, I would appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. We are 11 subs away from 500 subscribers here on the channel. I would appreciate if you do so. Every subscription helps. Also, make sure you turn on notifications so that you never miss when I am live or upload a video again. Leave a like on this live stream, share this live stream, and comment in the comment section, just like Flacco has been doing. Also, go check me out on the following social media platforms and come back tonight for SCSR 60. Looks like we have the second out of the ball game here. I have no idea if a ball has been hit to Connor Griffin yet. I wonder, though, if they will fast track him to the big leagues. You would think they would keep him at shortstop, right? Keep O'Neal Cruz out there in center field. I hope they do. Ideal plan for Connor Griffin. We got roughly a month and some change left in the minor league season, which wraps up a little bit before the big league season, I believe. Let Connor Griffin tear it up here in AA for the last month of the season. Start him out at AAA next year. And then maybe, hopefully, if the Pirates have any sort of, true intentions or brains to make moves this offseason and improve the team, maybe Connor Griffin is a late year call-up to boost this team in a playoff berth hunt. One more for 490. Agreed, Flacco. Please hit that subscribe button if you have not done so already. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get into the extra Pittsburgh sports news segment here of the program, and we are going to go to the world of hockey for the first time in a little bit with some actual big, substantial news. Now, about a month or so ago now, we got word from a handful of Penguins beat writers and National Hockey League insiders that the group of Ron Burkle, David Morehouse, and Mario Lemieux are once again looking into buying the Pittsburgh Penguins. They sold the Pens to Fenway Sports Group back in 2021, and since then, very swift and severe trend downwards for the Pens. They are in the midst of a rebuild right now. Looks like we are getting some buyer's remorse from Fenway, or maybe they just saw the Pens as a cash cow, buy them, and then maybe sell them at a higher value than what they bought them at a couple years ago. So we haven't heard anything on this front in quite some time. The Lemieux, Burkle, Morehouse group, they made their intentions known to a handful of people, including Commissioner Gary Bettman that they are looking into buying back the Pens. However, the price is pretty steep. Now, according to Elliot Friedman, which Friedman, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty much the Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter of the NHL, a new group is now looking into buying the Penguins, and that is the Chicago-based Hoffman family. Trying to, in real time, gather some information on here. At least, unlike Fenway Sports Group, which I believe Fenway, they've done similar things in the past with them, with some sports organizations where I don't know. I doubt they knew much of anything about soccer, yet they bought a soccer team, and that team has been pretty rough since they bought them. They knew pretty much nothing about hockey, and now the Pens fell to crap. Now they're looking to sell again. This Hoffman group, unlike Fenway, they actually are a hockey group of people. They own the ECHL's Florida Everblades, and now they are a serious contender to purchase the Penguins from Fenway Sports Group, according to Elliot Friedman. David Hoffman is the founder and chairman of Hoffman family of companies. He bought the Everblades from former Carolina Hurricanes owner Peter Carmenos in 2019. He also has looked into buying both NHL and NBA teams in the past. The Everblades have won 3 Kelly Cups in a row from 2024 to 2020, or from 2022 to 2024, when the Hoffman family bought the team. I'm sure they, I think they have their hands in a couple of other companies and programs as well. The Pens price tag right now estimated to be in the $1.75 billion range. I do have some hopes for this if it is true that the Pens could be indeed up for sale and they could go to a group. If it's the Lemieux, Burkle, Morehouse group, I'd be okay with it because we've had success with them in the past. Sure, they didn't leave. Sure, they left on not so good, terms. Not that they did anything wrong, but they hired Ron Hextall. The team was getting older, turned out to be one of the oldest teams in the NHL. So they didn't leave with too much success, but if they come back good, if this Hoffman family, buys them, I'm cool with that as well because they're at least hockey people and not just some nameless gray-faced corporate shills. So anything better than FSG is pretty much what I'm getting at. But the Hoffman family, I don't know anybody else besides them in the Lemieux group that is in on buying the Pens right now. But I will be okay if that indeed does happen. It would be a big step up for them going from owning an ECHL team and a couple of other companies to an NHL team. But at least, like I said, hockey people after all. Going to get into one more Pittsburgh Penguins news story here in one sec before we get back into some Steelers news. Real quick, Connor Griffin, in his first at-bat at the AA level, just watched a 3-0 pitch go in there for a strike. The first batter in the curve lineup tonight, Mitch Jebb, who once upon a time was a pretty highly touted prospect for the Bucks, and then wouldn't you know it, a couple years in the Bucks system, he can't hit anymore. So he led off the game with a strikeout. Now it is 3-2 on Connor Griffin. Wonder what the hell kind of jerseys the Curve are wearing tonight. That is a new jersey I haven't seen from them in quite some time. The 3-2 pitch to Connor Griffin. He will line this one into left field, and it is going to get down. A base hit for Connor Griffin. He struck it all right. It looked like originally it might hang up there to be made for the catch. Maybe a little bit of miscommunication between the left fielder and center fielder. The center fielder dove for it and missed it. I think they're going to rule that as a single in the scorebook here. So Connor Griffin on base gets a single in his first at bat at AA. Now I believe this is Termar Johnson up. Let's see Now, if Connor Griffin, to pair with his first double-A hit, if he can get his first double-A steal here, down in single-A this year, 16 home runs and 59 stolen bases in about 101 games. There he goes towards second, and he is in there uncompetitively. And now he's going to go to third. He's going to go to third, and he's safe. Wow. The throw down, I think it was in the dirt. The second baseman, or excuse me, the shortstop who was covering the bag, he got just enough of it where it got past him, but it didn't like go all the way into center field with a ton of mustard on it. And Griffin steals third. A single and 2 stolen bases to begin his double-A career. Hell yeah, Connor Griffin. Wow. Let's see now if Termarr Johnson can bring him home. Real quick, I'm going to finish up the Pittsburgh Penguins news. The second of just 2 stories related to the Pens here today. Congratulations to Brian Rust. He is one of 44 players who will attend the U.S. Men's Olympic Orientation Camp whenever that may be held. I think this is absolutely deserved for Rusty. He is probably the most underrated forward, or one of the most underrated forwards in the NHL, where he just constantly puts up anywhere from 60 to 80 point seasons. Had a hell of a year this year, and that is a bad decision there from Connor Griffin. A grounder from Termarr Johnson to the first baseman. Griffin broke for the plate. He is thrown out at the plate by a mile. So 2 goods, 2 positives, and a negative there for Connor Griffin. Oh well, I'm sure he will learn from that. Back to Brian Rust here. Hell of a opportunity for him. I think he should make Team USA. He is one of those guys, like watching Team USA in the Four Nations face-off earlier this year. It seemed like too much star power, not enough guys to, play a full 200-foot game. And that is exactly what Rust is. He is a Swiss Army knife out there. You want him to be a sniper, he can be a sniper. You want him to go to the front of the net and get dirty, he'll do that as well. I hope him going to this camp here will, give him a good showing to make Team USA's Olympic team. Also, can't forget head coach of Team USA, Mike Sullivan, now with the New York Rangers, but hey, he might see a handful of his a couple of his former players and get them on the squad. Him and Jake Gensel. A couple other notable names at this U.S. Development camp. Gonna run through them real quick. Matt Boldy, former Penguin. Jake Gensel, now down there in Tampa. Dylan Larkin, Jason Robertson, Cole Caulfield, Jack Hughes, Austin Matthews, Brian Rust, Logan Cooley, Pittsburgh, PA native. One of the first NHL products to come out of Sidney Crosby's Learn to Play program. Patrick Kane, Captain America right there from the past. JT Miller, Tage Thompson, Kyle Connor, Clayton Keller, Frank Nazar, Brady Tkachuk, Matthew Tkachuk. No, Matthew Tkachuk not on here. I guess he is dealing with injury. So Brady Tkachuk, Jack Eichel, Matthew Nyes, Brock Nelson, Vincent Trocheck, another PA native, Connor Garland, Chris Kreider, Shane Pinto, Alex Tuck, some defensemen, Brock Faber, Adam Fox, Noah Hannafin, Luke Hughes, Charlie McAvoy, Jackson Lacombe, Seth Jones, Quinn Hughes, Ryan McDonough, Brett Pesce, Neil Pionk, Jake Sanderson, Zach Werenski, Alex Vlasic, Jacob Slavin, Brady Shea, and the 4 goaltenders, Connor Hellebuck, Jake Ottinger, Jeremy Swayman, and Joey Dackard. So those are the 44 men who will be competing with each other to make Team USA. Congratulations to Brian Rust and a handful of the Pittsburgh natives. JT Miller, Pittsburgh native as well. Forgot to mention that. Congratulations and good luck to them. Wrapping up the program today, getting into a tiny bit of extra Pittsburgh Steelers news, or news that relates to the Steelers in general. Another roster move made today by the Pens. They signed linebacker Kenny Willix, and they waived injured offensive tackle Gareth Warren. At least a handful of people really excited about this Kenny Willocks. I'm going to be honest, I have not heard of him before. Former Michigan State edge rusher and former Minnesota Viking, was a seventh round pick by Minnesota, but has dealt with major injuries in his career. He played a couple of years in the UFL and lit it up there, and now will probably, if I had to guess, be in the lineup or be in the game at some point Thursday night. Try to get some good tape out there for himself. Gareth Warren, who got released, offensive tackle, from my understanding, had a rough game Saturday against the Buccaneers and also got a concussion in that game. His waiving is with an injury designation. Couple other stories here related to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Speaking of injuries, 2 injury updates in Cleveland. They have a ton going on there. Not all of it good. Interesting quarterback battle. The whole, Quinshon Judkins situation. And now they are dealing with an injury to their secondary. I think, just like the Steelers, the Browns, they have one of the best corner trios in the NFL with Denzel Ward, Martin Emerson, and Greg Newsome. Now that trio is down to 2. Denzel Ward, at Browns practice today in a one-on-one drill, injured his right shoulder. He went inside, was in pain, and there has been no update from the team yet, according to Browns reporter Mary Kay Cabot. So unfortunate that happened for Denzel Ward, but if he were to miss some substantial time at all before and not be good to go by the Steelers' matchup with the Browns, first matchup with the Browns on week 6, that would give an advantage to the Steelers a little bit. Another injury update here. Wide receiver Jalen McMillan, if you do not remember, Saturday against the Steelers, took a nasty hit that sort of flipped him upside down, and he landed on his neck. Had a very scary situation there. He was able to get off the field under his own power. He has a severe strained neck and will miss time, including the start of the season. He is also currently in a neck brace. So T's and P's, thoughts and prayers to Jalen McMillan. Hopefully everything will be all right there. One of the better young wide receivers in the NFL. And the last extra Steelers news story today, probably the most least newsworthy note for them, former practice squad running back for the Steelers, Xavier Valade. He is signing with the Minnesota Vikings today. So if there's any hardcore Xavier Valade fans out there, he's now heading to Minnesota. All right, ladies and gentlemen, going to take one more stroll here through Twitter before logging off for the night. Lots of positive reactions on Twitter here, with Connor Griffin making his Double-A debut, a single, a stolen base at third. Unfortunately, got thrown out at the plate. We do have an update now. We just said about Denzel Ward and his injury with the Cleveland Browns. This is about as fresh news as it can get. It is not believed that he suffered anything serious, according to Jordan Schultz. He will undergo more tests, but the belief is he will be fine. So, turns out might be a big nothing burger there for the Cleveland Browns. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think that will do it here for the night. Not seeing anything new here, but we will be back here tomorrow recapping what goes on tonight in the second game out of 3 between the Buccos and Blue Jays. Also, we will break down any new news that happens to come across the wire before Thursday night's preseason game between the Steelers and Carolina Panthers. So with that, for one final time, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me here tonight. Subscribe to the channel once again. Let's get to 500 subscribers here soon. Also turn on notifications so that you never miss when I'm live again. Like this video, share this video, and comment in the chat after the fact. Also, come back later on tonight for a new edition of SCSR60, and follow me on the following social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, and X. That'll do it. Thank you all for joining me. Have a good rest of your Tuesday night. See you back here tomorrow with some more Pittsburgh sports news. Have a good one. Peace.